What is going on, everyone? My name's Mike with EvolveINK, and I don't know about you, but I've been seeing a lot of posts and people talking about red flag tattoos, both clients and tattoo artists, saying like, hey, if this person has this type of tattoo, it's a red flag, or if your artist, your tattoo artist does this, it's a red flag, stay away. And I figured that it would be pretty fun to, dive into TikTok, watch some videos, see what other people have to say about red flag tattoos, and see if me and you watching agree on these so-called red flag tattoos, as well as hear from the Evolve community what my red flag tattoos are, and also people in the Evolve community. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. But for you watching right now, if you have a red flag when it comes to anything tattoo related, be sure to leave a comment below, because I always think that these are not only funny, but also very educational for people, because a lot of them are true. Like, yeah, it's a red flag, stay away. But yeah, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to EvolveINK. We talk all about tattoos here. Now, what inspired me to make this video was I was scrolling through TikTok and I was seeing a bunch of red flag tattoo related videos. And this one in particular by Marquez Inc. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. It popped up and it looks like it's from the perspective of a tattoo artist. So let's see what the tattoo artist's perspective of red flag tattoos are. So this should be fun.
What's a tattoo red flag for you? So if you see someone with this type of tattoo,
Any Tim Burton tattoos, any Jack Skellington tattoo, do not talk to me. I know.
So Tim Burton tattoos being a red flag. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is really a red flag. I know that this is just an opinion, but for me, I don't really think that they're a red flag. I just feel like, there's a certain type of person that would get this type of tattoo, and in my opinion, I'm like, they're not the most creative tattoos that you could get. I would say that this tattoo artist probably knows somebody with the Jack Skellington or a Tim Burton tattoo that you may have had a bad situation with, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a red flag. But again, it's her opinion.
I feel bad for saying this, but I don't like the Hourglass Lion Roses combo, the super black and gray. I don't like it.
Oh man, the lion clock rose tattoo. This thing I feel like I talk about way too much, because it is a very overdone tattoo and it seems like they all look the same. Now, if they're really done well, I don't really mind them, but they are an extremely overdone tattoo. Now, I will say the beauty of this new age of tattoos with AI and like AI generated tattoos, I feel like a lot of the lion clock rose tattoos that we're going to be seeing going into the future are going to look a lot different than, say, like the previous ones, because with the previous ones, tattoo artists are only using what they had, which is, stock pictures of lions, roses, and clocks from like Google or whatever. But with these new AI images, they're going to be able to create brand new reference photos to make the tattoos look a little bit different. So me personally, I do agree that it can be a red flag for this lion clock rose tattoo, because whenever I see it myself, I'm just like, come on. This is like the tattoo starter kit. Like, you could have got anything else. But I feel like they're going to be changing a lot in the future and looking a lot different. And also, when they are done properly, like I said, they do look pretty well. But I do agree, red flag there.
And if a boy has it, I'm like, no, you're annoying. That's just me. But mostly Tim Burton tattoos, no.
Yeah, that annoying part I could kind of understand, because it seems like everybody that has the lion clock rose tattoo, they're like, it's their first big tattoo that they ever got. So they're like, trying to show it off and being like, oh yeah, look, I'm tattooed. I've seen that before. So I could see the annoying part as well. And on this video, there was quite a few comments, but one of the top comments was, anyone that doesn't like Tim Burton is a red flag in my book. This other comment says, who hurt her with the Tim Burton tattoo? That's exactly what I thought earlier. I'm like, obviously, this had to stick into her head to make her feel a little weary when it comes to anybody that has a Tim Burton tattoo. And then this other person said, she sounds like a red flag. Man, people are brutal in the comment sections on TikTok. Now, this looks like some other tattoo artists giving their opinions on some red flags. So let's take a look at this.
What's a tattoo red flag?
Tribal.
Now, he had a pretty instant answer, so he was probably asked this before. But anyway, tribal tattoos, I feel like they were super popular in the 90s, and realistically, I don't really see them that much anymore in the wild. I don't see them either posted on, social media or just seeing them in real life, not even posting them, just seeing them in real life. I feel like anybody that has really a tribal tattoo nowadays is like somebody that got it back in the 90s or early 2000s. So, I mean, obviously, if this is a tattoo artist, there's probably still people coming in to ask for this. And that's why it's a red flag in his book. But I never found the appeal in tribal tattoos. I like the history behind some of like the Samoan ones. But other than that, regular tribal, I could see why it's a red flag.
What's your tattoo red flag? Forest half sleeves.
Sheesh. Forrest has half sleeves. This is another tattoo that I don't really see that much of anymore. It was very popular in like the 2010 to 2000, like I would say 15. But again, I don't really see them out in the wild and don't really see them online that much. But this was a very popular overdone tattoo for a while. And for my opinion, for anybody that had this tattoo, this was definitely something to where I saw it and I'm like, yeah, this person doesn't really have any creativeness when it comes to getting tattooed, as well as they kind of just want that tattooed look, which is totally fine. Always get what you want when it comes to tattoos, but these forest half sleeves, they never look good. And when they age, in my opinion, I feel like they just kind of all blend together and kind of look like just a almost blob like. Again, I could see why it's a red flag in your eyes.
Your tattoo red flag.
When somebody only has their hands and their neck tattooed and no other tattoos.
See, this one right here about the hands, neck, and throat being tattooed and nothing else, I've been seeing that a lot when it comes to red flag tattoos. I think I talked about it in one of my other videos on this channel, but mostly a lot of tattoo artists are the people that find this to be a red flag. Now, when it comes from the client perspective, I don't really think they judge that much when it comes to just getting your hands, neck, and face tattooed, but tattoo artists all the time. And I could understand why, because, they kind of are taking responsibility in a way that like, hey, I'm literally altering this person's appearance on their most visible areas of their body. And I could kind of see from a tattoo artist's perspective that it's probably a little scary. And that if anybody asks for them, it can be like a red flag to be like, hey, I probably shouldn't do this. But yeah, this is a really popular one, so I would put it in the red flag category. Now that we ended up hearing from tattoo artists and what their red flags are, which I do agree with majority of them, I wanted to hear a little bit from some clients, like their perspectives on tattoos. And I did stumble upon a few of them from both perspectives. So this is from the clients, and this is from the 949 podcast. And these, I believe they're both clients, realistically, they don't even look like they have any tattoos, but they have their own opinions on red flag tattoos from what other people get. So let's see what they have to say with that, because this should be interesting.
What are red flag tattoos?
Wait, I just thought of the perfect one. Red flag for girl? Oh my god, like the flowers all over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Off the
shoulder.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a common theme with like red flag tattoos with also like tattoos that are just overdone, because flowers over the shoulder are overdone, and it does come into like a stereotype when it comes to like females getting this type of tattoo. And again, I thought it was pretty funny at the fact that he didn't even need to think about it. He ended up just having to like, it immediately came to his head.
I feel like if a guy gets a tattoo of a language he doesn't speak.
Oh my, this girl right here knows what she's talking about. I never understood why people get tattoos in other languages that they don't speak, or that the tattoo artist doesn't speak, because like, listen, you might be going off of Google Translate or finding it online somewhere, but how many stories have you heard to where somebody gets a tattoo in another language thinking that it says something when it ends up saying something completely different when somebody actually reads it that speaks in that language? Definitely a red flag. I'm like, why the hell would somebody even want to get this type of tattoo on them? I mean, I can understand if you speak it, or if it's your nationality, like it's where you're from or whatever the case may be, like that's totally fine. But I don't know why people end up doing that, to be honest with you. No idea, and I still don't understand, and it's a red flag for sure.
Listen, I can't talk a lot on red flag tattoos on girls, because frankly, I don't notice red flags on women. Like, historically, like, if I think a woman is attractive, I will sprint through a field of red flags, just being like, oh, look at the decoration. Like, there's definitely some things to pay attention to. Like, if she's got a Tim Burton tattoo, like, of any sort, she's buried bodies before. And I don't see that as a red flag. I see that as an early end-of-life opportunity. It's not a bad thing. That's an option. She's got a tattoo of a knife. That means she probably has a knife on her and not just on her skin. Again, not a red flag. Just a painful lesson. If she's got one of her ex's names tattooed on her, all right, that's not a red flag. That's a future billboard opportunity, because if I play my cards right, I'm going on there too. Like a Hall of Fame or a hit list. Girls don't really have like red flag tattoos, just more like warning labels, you know? That could be considered a red flag, but I don't consider it one.
This video cracked me the fuck up. When he said that it's not so much like a red flag, it's more of a warning label. I could see where he's coming from with that, because that is pretty damn hilarious. Now, with all that said, I asked the Evolve community. I posted some posts on Instagram, as well as put a community tab post up, and I wanted to hear what you in the Evolve community had to say with red flag tattoos. And these are some of the ones that stuck out to me, because I'm like, damn. These are definitely red flags. And I believe most of the Evolve community members that contributed into these posts are all just clients and they don't get tattooed. So this is more on the client side of things. And the first one said, tattooing with no gloves on. And I said, if you see this, run away. Because if somebody is willing to tattoo you without gloves, that means that they're not tattooing in a sterile environment. They don't care about cross-contamination, and they don't care about your well-being, because chances are, if they're not wearing gloves, their equipment and their area is not sterile, which then will end up getting you an infection, and that's something that could be not fun to deal with. So definitely a red flag there. This other comment says, definitely going to have to say very small script is a no-no. I definitely agree with that. Some people, you know, if it's done right, when it first gets done and for like the first couple of years, it does look good, but as the tattoo ages and fades, if it's really small script, that cursive or whatever it's saying is not going to look right. My dad has some very small script on his body, and if you look at it now, you can't even make out what it says. Like, obviously you could look at it and see that it's supposed to say something, but you can't make it out at all. So it's like, why even get it? It's just gonna look stupid later on down the line. Not doing research on the shop. This is probably the biggest red flag of them all to me, because I've seen people, and I was one of them before. I wasn't perfect. People just walk into a tattoo shop not knowing any of the artists, if their quality of work is good, if the environment's sterile, or even if it's a tattoo artist that say, hey, they may have great work, but is it a tattoo style that you actually want to get? Doing research before you even step foot or call or contact the tattoo shop or the artist inside of it is such a critical thing. And if somebody ends up not doing the research at the shop before going to it, that just means that they really don't care that much. Yes, you could argue that it might be like a spontaneous tattoo, which is fine. People do that all the time. Whenever I talk to people that say, yeah, I just found the shop, I went to the closest tattoo shop that's near me, and I walked in and got a tattoo, I'm always like, kind of hurts me a little bit. Red flag. When a tattoo artist is a dick, and I really never thought about this till this commenter said this, and I was like, man, can you imagine how awkward and agonizing it would be for you to have to just like sit in a tattoo chair when you know the artist is just such a mean person, a dick, or making you feel uncomfortable, and you got to just stay still and be like right next to them while they're tattooing you, just for you to feel uncomfortable for hours on end till that tattoo is done. I mean, even if they do great quality of work, to me, I'm just like, if you don't have that bond between the tattoo artist and the client itself, to me, it's not even worth it. So yeah, if the tattoo artist is a dick, I can see where you're going with the whole red flag thing. Now, as you can see, everybody has their own opinion on red flag tattoos, and even though some people agreed on it, it's a very wide spectrum of what people consider red flags when it comes to tattoos for both clients and tattoo artists. But again, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below on some of your red flag tattoos that you feel like is a red flag from either artist perspective or client's perspective. And I will say, as more and more people talk about red flags and all these videos are being posted about it, I feel like the people that have these tattoo red flags are going to end up, regretting their tattoos at some point. And tattoo regret sucks. I actually made a whole video all about it right here. We talk all about tattoo regret. I recommend you going to check it out. We'll keep the conversation going. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love yous, and I'll see you in the next video.